Welcome to Book to Blueprint, where powerful books become practical blueprints for real life. You do not need more information, you need execution. This is Book to Blueprint. All right, let's get right to it. Today, we're not just going to talk about the book Freakonomics, we're going to install it as a brand new operating system for your brain. This is your practical, hands-on blueprint for seeing the hidden side of, well, everything. So what do they have in common? It sounds like the start of a bad joke, right? But it's actually the perfect way to start thinking like this. See, the world is just full of these weird puzzles that seem impossible, but they're not. They all have answers if you just know how to look. And the answer to this one, when the incentives are strong enough, they've both been known to cheat. So let's build the mindset that's going to help you find those kinds of surprising truths for yourself. Here's our game plan. We're going to start with a whole new way of seeing things. Then we'll dive into the one core idea you absolutely have to know. After that, we'll lay out the operating system, the rules of the game. Then we'll see it in action. And finally, we'll map out a concrete plan so you can become a Freakonomics starting today. Okay, first things first, and this is a really key distinction. Freakonomics is not a subject. It's not like history or biology. It's a method. Think of it more like a toolkit or a special pair of X-ray glasses that you can use to look at any problem, whether it's crime rates or what your kids are doing, and see what's really going on underneath. This captures the whole philosophy perfectly. You see, most of the time the world is telling you, hey, look at this apple. Everyone calls it an apple, it's green, it's shiny, it looks just like an apple. But when you look at the data, when you follow the incentives, you realize, wait a second, this is an orange. This entire method is about training yourself to see past the shiny apple skin and find the orange inside. And you know what that means for you? It's incredibly empowering. It means the world around you, which can seem so complicated and messy, well, it isn't. It's not some unbreakable code. You can absolutely understand it. You just have to learn how to ask the right kind of questions. And now we're getting to the engine of this whole framework. Seriously, if you forget everything else from this explainer, please remember this one concept. It's the central pillar that holds everything else up. This is the big idea. It's that simple. Everything, and I mean everything, boils down to incentives. If you can figure out why people do what they do, what they're trying to get, what they're afraid of losing, you can solve almost any puzzle. Human behavior isn't random, not at all. People are just responding to incentives. Your new job is to become an incentive detective. So how do you actually do that? Well, luckily, incentives really only come in three main flavors. You got your economic ones. That's the obvious stuff, right? Money, bonuses, fines. Then you have social incentives. This is all about reputation, what people think of us, shame and glory. And finally, you have moral incentives. This is your conscience, your inner compass, telling you to do the right thing. To really get what's going on, you have to figure out which of these, or what mix of them, is really pulling the strings. Okay, so we've got the core idea, follow the incentives. Now it's time to actually install the operating system. These are the specific rules, the guiding principles for your new way of thinking. This is your cheat sheet. All right, here are the 5 core tenets. Number 1, incentives are everything. Always start there. Number 2, conventional wisdom, what everybody knows, is usually wrong. Be suspicious of it. 3, the biggest effects often have tiny hidden causes that happened a long time ago. 4, experts have their own incentives too, so don't just blindly trust them. And 5, data is your best friend. The numbers will cut through the noise if you know how to listen to them. Theory is great, but let's see how this all comes together in the real world. It's time to take this new operating system for a test drive. We're going to use one of the book's most famous examples to see how these rules can uncover a truly shocking truth. So picture this. It's the early 90s. All the experts are on TV predicting a tidal wave of youth crime, a bloodbath. But then something totally unexpected happened. The exact opposite. Crime rates just started falling off a cliff. And for a long time, nobody really knew why. Now, of course, everyone had a theory. We heard all the usual suspects, didn't we? It was innovative policing. It was the booming economy. It was stricter gun laws. These were the easy, comfortable answers. But remember rule number 2? Conventional wisdom is often just a convenient story. The actual data was pointing to something else entirely, something distant and subtle that almost everyone had missed. And this is the hidden cause. The book argues that the single biggest factor in that 90s crime drop was the legalization of abortion almost 20 years earlier. Now, let's just look at the data here. The data shows that children born into very difficult, unwanted situations are statistically at a much higher risk of becoming criminals later on. So the legalization of abortion meant that a whole generation of potential high-risk individuals was never born. It's a perfect, if controversial, example of tenet number 3, a dramatic effect with a distant, subtle cause. This whole thing brings us to a critical tool for your new toolkit, understanding the difference between correlation and causation. They sound alike, but they're worlds apart. Correlation is just when two things happen at the same time. The economy got better and crime went down. That's a correlation. But causation, that's the holy grail. That's when you prove one thing made the other thing happen. And finding the true cause, not just the convenient correlation, is the whole point of this method. Okay, this is the most important part. This is where the rubber meets the road. We've gone through the theory, we've seen it in action. Now let's turn all of this into a concrete plan for you to become a Freakonomist in your own life. Here it is, your 3-step plan. Step 1, in any situation, a meeting at work, a debate with family, a news story, immediately ask yourself who gains and how. And think about all 3 flavors, economic, social, and moral. Step 2, actively question the obvious answer. Challenge it. Ask, but what if the exact opposite were true? And step 3, learn to follow the data trail. Anecdotes and stories are powerful, but the numbers are where the real truth usually hides. Now, to make this all stick, you have to build habits. These are the recurring behaviors you need to cultivate. Every single time you hear an explanation for something, do a quick mental scan for those 3 types of incentives. Develop a healthy skepticism, not cynicism, but a real desire for proof. Get comfortable asking, okay, but what do the numbers say? And constantly ask yourself, is this just a correlation or is there real proof of causation? These are the daily reps that will build your new mental muscle. So we end right where we started, but now with a direct challenge to you. Look around at your life, your job, your relationships, your most deeply held beliefs. What is one thing you've always just accepted as an apple? A simple, conventional truth. What if, just what if, you look a little closer, follow the incentives, and discover it's actually an orange? Finding that answer, that is your first step to using this blueprint to see the world as it really is. If you have a book in mind that should be added to our list, comment below. If this blueprint helped you, subscribe, like, and build with us. More blueprints are coming. Stay intentional, stay consistent. We are doing this one book at a time. And remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So share this with them and grow together. Real progress becomes stronger when it is shared. Build your life one blueprint at a time. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you do.